My name is Danh Nguyen, and this is my audience. Okay, so what is global warming? Global warming is the process in which the sun sends light towards the earth, and the earth traps this light in the form of heat, keeping the temperature relatively high. This process has been occurring since water appeared on the earth millions of years ago. Recently, however, global warming has increased on the earth as a result of human activity. This increase in global warming is a result of augmented trapping of heat from the sun and an overall greater global temperature than ever before. I gathered most of my data from www.epa.gov/climate change, and today I will feature the cause of this increase in global warming and global temperature, the effect it will have on our atmosphere, and what we can do to prevent these drastic effects on our planet. So let's begin with how global warming works and what causes it. So we receive light from the sun. So this is the earth, and this is the sun. The sun sends light towards the earth in the form of rays in straight lines. This is our atmosphere, our exosphere. Most of this light is absorbed by the earth, which is where we get some of our heat, and a lot of it is reflected back out. But our atmosphere traps a lot of the reflected light, and it comes back into the atmosphere as a form of infrared heat. This infrared heat keeps all of our climate stable, all of our food chains are intact. But recently, we've had extra infrared heating in the earth more than normal, because this layer right here is caused by a group of gases called the greenhouse gases, and there are four main greenhouse gases. They're carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and chlorofluorocarbons. These are not naturally found in the atmosphere besides carbon dioxide, because we respire with our with plants, so we release carbon dioxide, they take it in. We add methane, nitrous oxide, and chlorofluorocarbons into the atmosphere using cars, electricity, transportation, and industry. Until the 1800s, this layer was very thin. Once the Industrial Revolution began in around 1850, we started using more factories, and as we use factories, we release more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. So if you look at a graph of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, you'll notice that it increases and decreases year after year. But you'll notice global temperature follows the same exact pattern. So we know for a fact that global temperature is a direct cause. Increases directly from an increase in carbon dioxide. So what's the problem with too much carbon dioxide or too many greenhouse gases? So as the greenhouse gases accumulate in the atmosphere, we have more global warming. So more global warming means more heat is trapped in the earth, so you'll notice that our global temperature is increasing. But what's so bad about an increased temperature? So if our temperature increases, we're going to have drastic weather changes. Areas with no water, no rainfall are going to be suffer from drought. Areas with lots of rainfall are going to get even more rainfall. So you're going to have heavier storms and heavier droughts. So as a result of greater global warming, you're going to see some more severe storms, typhoons, hurricanes. Also, water levels are going to increase. So most people think that water is going to increase because we're going to melt our ice caps. So if you melt the ice caps, then as a result, the water will rise, right? But that's not the real reason why. When you heat the water in the ocean, the water goes through this thing called thermal expansion. And thermal expansion is when you heat up water, instead of just boiling, it'll increase its volume. So more heat onto the ocean will cause the level to rise. And then if you heat the ice caps, like if this is a polar ice cap, let's call it Antarctica. It has this effect called albedo. Albedo is when the sun sends in light, it reflects light. So then it keeps our Earth cool. But as the ocean temperatures increase, this ice cap will get smaller and smaller. So then this albedo effect will decrease and decrease. So less and less light will be reflected back into space as our polar ice caps decrease. So as a result, we obviously can see that a greater increase in global warming will harm not only humans but all organisms across the planet. So what can we do to decrease global warming? So as I mentioned, the global warming causing agents are carbon dioxide, methane, chlorofluorocarbons, and nitrous oxides. Those are released by electricity, transportation, and industry. So if we can attack or like reduce our use in those three industries, then we can reduce our emission of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere and stop global temperature increase. So carbon dioxide, we release carbon dioxide when we combust fuel. So using hybrid vehicles, using mass transit will decrease our carbon dioxide release into the atmosphere. Industry releases lots of nitrous oxide when they burn coal. So to reduce that, there's these methods called coal gasification. It's when you take your coal and you burn it and you turn it into a gas, and then you burn the gas for fuel, for energy. So the thing about that is a gas emits less nitrous oxide than a solid does. So if we turn the coal into a gas and then we burn it, then we won't release as much nitrous oxide into the atmosphere. There's also things called scrubbers. We put them in smokestacks. The scrubbers will collect particulates that would otherwise be released into the atmosphere. So then we will release less nitrous oxide into the atmosphere. Methane is kind of hard to attack. Methane is usually in agriculture. You'll see it in rice paddies. It's in farms because animals' feces will release methane into the atmosphere. But a big methane user is natural gas. When you burn natural gas, you burn methane. You release methane. So if you reduce your use of natural gas, then you reduce your emission of methane. And to conclude, if the current trend of fuel use and combustion continues, the global temperature will certainly reach a point that we humans have never imagined. Without ice caps, there will be no albedo effect to keep the Earth's temperature relatively constant. The Earth will certainly reach an apocalypse. Either the plants will all dry out and all of our food source will be gone, or there will be giant storms that will kill us, droughts, an enormous epidemic, since mosquitoes will be more prone to carry malaria in the moist weather, and humans won't be able to survive the catastrophe. But since I've given you the steps to take to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and save our planet from destruction, you have the knowledge to stop the disastrous effect of global warming. It's up to you to apply it, and for more information, visit www.epa.gov/climate change. What time is it?